Hi, I'm psychic medium and author Linda Pineacre, and I hope you'll join me now for my live event, Exploring Life Lessons. And I also wanted to introduce you to Poppy. She's my newest member to my family, and I rescued her from Texas. I think she wants to sleep, but I just wanted to bring her up so you can see her. There she is. Okay, so we'll talk about some of the life lessons that tend to be most challenging and how to resolve them. Before you began this life, you decided what your life lessons would be to help you to evolve, because that's the only reason we come here, really. And at that time, you and other spirits agreed to contracts to provide opportunities for life lessons. Life lessons include a wide range of experiences, and some of your life lessons may be different than those of others, and some of them may be the same. The life lessons I'll be talking about are the ones that tend to create challenges for others and for myself. Thank you. Hi, Lisa. Nice of you to join. Oh, she said the puppy's adorable. She's actually 4 to 5 years old, but I think of her as her puppy. When you're aware of life lessons, this enables you to notice history repeating itself. The same lessons will continue to occur over and over again until you learn how to handle them. And you may occasionally still encounter them after you're learning how to handle them, because it's just to ensure that you continue to handle them well. But if you mostly want to get rid of them, the best way to do that is to take care of them. One of the life lessons that's most commonly experienced by others is learning how to set firm and consistent boundaries with others. If you tend to encounter people who take advantage of you, you'll continue to do so until you learn how to set consistent boundaries and limits with them. You need to be clear about your needs and expectations and what you'll do if these are not met. Over the course of years that I worked as a family therapist, several different couples met with me and expressed concern that their adult son still lived with them, was unemployed, did not pay rent, and constantly asked them for money. I asked them to consider who was going to teach their son to be responsible before he had a wife, children, and a mortgage if they didn't. And let's face it, I mean, now you got to look at partners too, and if or not they have children. But all those things have to be considered. So regardless of what your lifestyle is for your son, you have to be the one to teach him to be responsible. Who else is going to teach him? So anyway, I suggested that they give him a reasonable date to get a job and either move out or start paying room and board. And those who were able to set clear and firm expectations and share them with him and follow through on the deadline, they were the ones that were most able to develop positive relationships with their sons than those who didn't. Well, it looks like we got a great camera here. It looks like it keeps freezing. I hope that doesn't last. Another example involves a woman who's been storing 2 boats built by her deceased husband. The boats haven't been used for more than 40 years, and several times she's asked her 2 adult sons to come and get them, but they haven't. If she were to tell them that she would either give away the boats or sell them by a certain date if they didn't pick them up, she'd be justified in giving those boats away or selling them if they remained on her property after the date. It'd be necessary for her to follow through and give the boats away or sell them once the date passed in order to successfully handle the life lesson. Anybody else that's joining, please say hi, let me know you're here, and let me know where you're from. Thanks. If you're involved in relationships in which you do not receive respect, you need to share your feelings. Sometimes people aren't aware of their behavior and how it affects others. But if sharing your feelings doesn't lead to a positive change, it's time to either reduce the amount of time you spend with that person or end the relationship. And in instances where that's not possible, for example, if you share parenting of children, it may be helpful to establish a parenting agreement, financial support, custody, and access through the legal system so that you're more able to limit the contact that you have with that person. Hi, Leslie. Thanks for joining. If you have a tendency to seek the approval of others and choose relationships in which your needs aren't met, this may be because you're raised in a family in which you weren't valued or nurtured enough during your childhood. The negative messages you were told may be the very same messages that are running through your head on a day-to-day basis now. You may find it difficult to value your own opinion, and you may notice that others don't value or respect you either. Hi, Corinne. Some of your life lessons may have been contracts to help you to cope with adversity. And you'll need to embark on a journey of self-discovery so that these messages are no longer the ones that decide who you'll be and what you will do. In order for you to develop more self-esteem and a stronger sense of self-worth, it's necessary for you to learn to nurture yourself. You need to more or less provide the nurturing that you didn't receive, because that's what helps us to get a strong sense of self. That and having firm and consistent boundaries and limits, because otherwise we have too much control at too young of an age. It's overwhelming for us, and we soon learn that we have to control absolutely everything in our life to feel safe. But as an adult, the one thing that you can really work on is raising your self-esteem and your self-worth by nurturing yourself. You'll need to take the time to discover what helps you to feel good about yourself and what gives you something to look forward to. You may do that by experimenting with new activities and behaviors that will help you to meet your own needs. Because once you feel more nurtured, then you give yourself a message that you're worth it. And when you learn how to meet your own needs, you're more likely to choose people where the relationship isn't based on dependency. This will help you to discover your strengths, your talents, and your abilities, and to develop a stronger sense of self. And you'll find that you'll make better choices in your relationship with others because they'll be based on you feeling worthy of respect and love. Anytime I have someone come to me who's been in an abusive relationship, I always tell them, you need to take the time to be on your own, get to know yourself, find out what makes you happy, what makes you feel strong, and it makes a total difference in who you'll choose in relationships afterwards. You'll become more likely to become involved in relationships where both of you are willing to compromise and resolve issues because you have a stronger shared commitment in the relationship. A common life lesson, which I don't think anybody hasn't had to work on this one, involves the need to develop patience. Patience comes from having faith that the things you want and need will come to fruition. That enables you to be more relaxed instead of being stressed about the outcome. And the other thing that comes out of that is you have to have the faith that whatever comes to be is what is in the best interest of all involved. So sometimes you won't necessarily get what you think you need or want, but it'll be what's for the best, and that usually turns into something that's positive anyway. And it enables you to have more patience. If things aren't moving in the direction that you hoped, sometimes that's an indication that you need to do something new or different. For example, if you're unable to get something you want, maybe you're looking for the wrong thing, maybe you're looking in the wrong location, or maybe the timing is incorrect and you're supposed to wait. So when things aren't falling into place and you're really struggling with something, that's usually a sign that you need to stop and take an honest look at things and see what you need to do differently. And one of the examples I have for that is there's been times in the past when I've posted a class on my website and online, and people don't register right away. And that's usually an indication to me that the timing's wrong for that particular class, that I need to teach something else, or I need to change something in the class. And sometimes it means I need to change how I'm advertising it. When I'm expecting an experience to be challenging and anxiety-provoking, I often reassure myself that everything will go well, and I relate it to something I'm familiar with so that I can reassure myself that it's going to be okay. And that helps me be more able to relax. The last time I let myself get anxious about an event, I felt fine within moments after the event started. And I later wondered why I let myself get all tied up in knots, because everything went extremely well. This lesson is for me to avoid becoming stressed unnecessarily and to remember to reassure myself that things will turn out the way they're meant to. And the other thing, I say to myself is, I really don't think the universe would set me up for failure unless there's something really valuable I need to learn from it. But on the whole, if things are brought to you and it's really uncanny how they're brought to you, that's usually a sign that they're meant to be. So why wouldn't they go well? So I don't know why we worry, but it's hard being human. Anyway, if you reassure yourself that you'll be able to handle whatever happens, rather than being stressed and trying to control the outcome, you'll find that challenges will become less stressful, and you'll be able to be more able to take them in your stride. If you lack confidence in your ability to cope with change, you'll find you're met with more changes just to help you to become more confident in your ability to cope. The outcome is better if you let things come to you instead of searching and trying to make things happen. I often find that the people I meet with, they think that they need to all of a sudden start telling people what they're looking for, or frantically looking online, or going out looking for it. And in most cases, if you're really meant to have it, it'll be brought right to you, and it'll be right in your face, and you won't even really have to look for it. So it's just going to be there because it's meant to. Okay. The next one. If you feel your feelings and needs are overlooked, you need to develop assertiveness. And I know that's a struggle for everybody, because some people are either, too submissive or too aggressive. But you want to be able to declare what you need in a nice, clear, straightforward manner that isn't rude or attacking to other people. So you need to express your wants and needs and be assertive about getting them met. You need to stand up for yourself, but in a way that you won't feel bad about afterwards. It's not always about you. Sometimes your involvement is to help somebody else experience their life lessons. That's something my sister and my niece always remind me about. You have something really weird happen in a parking lot or whatever, and it's kind of upsetting, and maybe it's a life lesson for that other person rather than you. I had a job years ago, back when I lived in San Diego, so this was probably, well, it was back in the early 2000s. I had a job that the supervisor who'd previously valued my work became really critical and emotionally abusive. So I ended up quitting, and because I found myself dreading to go to work every day. And I trained myself in Word and Excel. And they asked me to come back to the job, and I said no, because I just thought it would go back the same way as it was. And I obtained a much better job. It was more enjoyable, it was challenging, it paid better, much better hours. And I no longer harbor hard feelings towards that man, because he enabled me to, I think it was a contract that he and I had shared. And it enabled me to develop more confidence and get a job that better fit my needs and abilities. And I later heard from my coworkers that they found out from him that he felt bad about how he treated me. And this led him to be more patient with others. So both of us actually benefited from that contract. Life lessons often involve loss, whether this involves loss of someone you love, loss of good health, loss of a job, or loss of your home. You need to give yourself time to grieve and be kind to yourself. There again, it belongs really nurturing yourself and finding out what you need to do to make your life enjoyable again. And make the changes necessary that help you to get on with your life. Life is all about balance. And many of your life lessons help you to achieve more balance in your life. It's up to you to determine when you'll complete your life lessons. You can go at your own pace. If you repeatedly encounter the same challenges, that's an indication that you need to learn a new way to respond so there'll be a different outcome. Was it Dr. Phil always says that crazy or whatever is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? All been there. Once you find something that works, do more of that and do less of what doesn't. Avoid focusing on what you've done wrong. There's no need to hit yourself over the head and give yourself a hard time. Do your best to make it right, learn from it, and move on. That's all I have for tonight, unless anybody has some questions. The next live event is on January 15th. It's on a Wednesday again at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And the topic will be announced just prior to the event. I'm giving myself a month's break, and I'm going to see if I can come up with a great idea. And if you have any great ideas, please send them to me. Private message me or put them at the bottom of this video. I'd love to see them. Thanks for joining me.